Blessed day to everyone, most especially to our professor, Norhaini B. Indaila. I am Beverly C. Mejica, your reporter. Please bear with me as I am discussing my assigned topic. My topic is the continuation of topic 10, Steps to Ethical Decision Making. To come up a best decision is not an easy task. It should be thoroughly studied, taking consideration of many factors like it should be benefited of all. Dahil anuman ang magiging resulta nito ay magiging liable ka. It is your responsibility. Kaya dapat sa anumang sitwasyon na nangailangan ng desisyon na ang goal mo ang magkaroon ng magandang resulta ay nangangailangan ng isang masusing pag-aaral, and it should be done step by step. With Hulme's meta model will help us to understand the step-by-step process and making decision. As this meta model for ethical decision making describes a step-by-step process for making an ethical decision. The probability that individuals engage in a decision-making process as they confront ethically charged situation is high. When we face with a morally charged situation, we are engaged in an ethical decision-making process to resolve the ethical dilemma. With Hulme's meta model, we will learn of what we are going to do to have a good ethical decision, as the ability to work through and resolve ethical dilemmas is an important skill for any professional. This is the ethical decision-making model, the Holmes meta model. Let's discuss this one by one. Used as a teaching tool, this meta model can educate research administrators on their approach to moral dilemmas and what may influence their decision-making processes. Consciously aware of the steps of the process and potential influencing variables, research administrators will be better prepared to tackle the ethical dilemmas they confront in their professional lives. For step 1, moral awareness. The first step, moral awareness, or the I feel step, is the recognition that a situation contains a moral issue. This awareness may result from a gut feeling that something is wrong in a particular situation. Individuals may experience a strong emotion like disgust and or a psychological response to situations that contain ethical conflicts. Research suggests that the moral intensity, factors for proximity, and social consensus are particularly important for an individual's ability to recognize a moral issue. In this scenario, the research administrator need to answer the question, is there an ethical dilemma in this situation? The research administrator must assess his or her own awareness of a potential problem, as well as variables that may positively or negatively influence his or her awareness. For step 2, moral judgment. The second step, I ask, refers to rest component of moral judgment. At this point in the process, the decision maker formulates and evaluates potential choices and possible outcomes. Research suggests that the intensity factors of social consensus, magnitude of consequences, and probability of effect are particularly relevant for the decision maker at this stage of the process. In this scenario, the research administrator must develop and critique the possible solutions and outcomes of the problem. In order to construct a morally sound judgment, the research administrator should ask questions that will help develop and clarify his or her judgment about those choices, as well as think through questions that may either positively or negatively influence that judgment. For step 3, moral intention. After evaluating possible solutions and their consequences, the individual decides his or her intention to act. This third step, I think I will, refers to rest component of moral intention. The research shows that the power of social consensus is significantly related to the individual's intention to act. At this point in the decision-making process, the research administrator needs to decide how he or she intends to act, remembering that choosing not to act may be a valid decision. The research administrator must deliberate on how he or she intends to deal with the hiring committee, as well as take into consideration factors that may influence his or her intention to act morally. The fourth step or the final step is moral action. The final step, I act, indicates moral courage or moral action. This step refers to the decision maker's behavior. Choosing to follow through on a morally right decision requires the individual to marshal the courage to act despite fear or adversity. Minimal research has been conducted on moral action and moral intensity factors due to the inherent difficulties in manipulating individuals' decisions in ethically charged situations. However, the importance of the morally intensity factors in the previous three steps suggests that moral intensity should be considered in this last step. Specifically, the power of social influence represented by social consensus is significant in the three previous steps of the process and likely consistently important in the fourth step. In this scenario, at the final step in the process, the research administrator must act. After having chosen an intended action, the research administrator must consider his or her final behavior and what has the potential to influence his or her action. So those are the four steps in ethical decision making. Understanding the model of ethical decision making and the factors that may influence the process will help research administrators evaluate how effectively they deal with ethical decisions and what may prevent them from making an appropriate and responsible ethical decision. That's all of my report. Thank you and may God bless us all.